Hello everyone, and welcome to this video. In this video we're going to be taking a look at One Finger Death Punch for the PC. The game was released in 2014 and is by Silver Dollar Games. So, looking at this game, is it worth a purchase or not? Let's investigate, shall we? When it comes to this game's story, I don't really think that there is one. Well, I couldn't find one anyways, but the point is that this game's not really meant to be about all that, to be quite honest. The game's basically just meant to be a quick pick up and play style game, where you're not meant to get absorbed into any long lengthy story or plot, but instead be able to just pick the game up and start playing straight away. It's essentially designed so that you don't really have to think about anything, and that you can just jump straight into the game. So sadly, there's not really any plot, and if there is, there's not really one that I could really find anyway. And the truth is, while there isn't really a plot so to speak of, I wouldn't really hold that against this game, because trust me, it does get better. Let's talk about the game's characters. Well, this one might be a little hard to explain really. You see, when it comes to this game's characters, you take control of a stickman, fighting other stickmen, and that's basically it. I know this sounds a little strange, but again, the game's designed for simplicity, and while this may put some people off, it really shouldn't. Honestly, I would like to say more about the game's characters, but I can't because there really isn't any. The main stickman that you play as isn't Ryu from Shenmue, who's out on a quest for revenge or anything deep and meaningful like that. Once you start playing the game, the lack of plot and character will make sense to you, however. Speaking of gameplay, what's this game's appeal then? Well, it's basically designed so that you can just use one hand, and before you think it, no, I do not mean on the same level as the Senran series. It's designed so that you can just use the two mouse buttons, which I deeply advise against, unless of course you actually want to have carpal tunnel. Later, I found out that you can actually use an Xbox 360 controller for this game, so use that. No, really, you really do not want to be using the mouse for this game. Your fingers and your wrist will be in agony literally after 5 minutes. That aside, the gameplay is extremely addictive. You wouldn't think to look at it, because when you look at this game, as I've said with other games before such as Pixel, never judge a game just by its screenshots. Actually playing the game compared to watching a video on YouTube or looking at screenshots is completely different. The game's gameplay is very easy to pick up, and practically after the second or third level, I know you're just going to be hooked like myself. So what's One Finger Death Punch's graphics like? Well, the graphics are rather nice, if simple. It's not, and it never aiming was to be anything along the same scale of something say such as Skyrim or Crysis. Everything is laid out nice and neatly on the stages provided, and everything is shown in beautiful HD. And although you think it's going to be fairly simple because the main character is a stickman, and yet the enemies are stickmen too, the graphics are actually rather well done, and come across very beautifully coloured and very vivid. They're really quite a treat for the eyes. You don't think it when you look at the screenshots, but when you actually play the game itself, everything just comes alive. It's really hard to explain the game's graphics, so the best way I can explain it is just to say to watch the video, because that really does bring to life just how beautiful the game actually can look. The environments provided in the game are limited to a small degree, however they do change a fair bit depending on what you're doing on the stage itself. If you're in mob mode, for example, you get loads of enemies come at you on screen at once. If you're doing smash mode, you get loads of stuff thrown onto the stage at once so that you can then throw your enemies into that. If you're then doing weapon battles, you then get various new effects shown in the background, and also get a whole host of weapons to choose from, ranging from spears, swords, shurikens and more. You can also have various weather effects in the game, such as lightning on stages, where you will have rain and lightning happening in the background. This also means that you can't tell what type of enemies are which makes it a lot more harder. This makes the entire stage itself that much harder, to the point where I felt like screaming at the TV because of how many times I had to redo a stage because I couldn't tell which enemies were what colour because of the weather effects. It's a nice added extra, but it does get quite annoying, and while other stages do have fire effects which look quite nice, they are few and far between. The stages are good, I just feel like they could have done more to them. However, I do understand why they are limited. If you're wondering about if this game is worth picking up at all, then I'll be straight with you right from the start on quite a few points. 1. The game is super cheap. I've seen this game go for less than $1 on Steam, and even less on other websites such as G2A and various others. 2. It's also extremely addictive. I mean, really addictive. Honestly, I looked at this game and I did not think much to begin with. Then after the second level, everything changed for me, and I found that I'd been playing the game for about 4 to 5 hours and had completely lost track of time. The truth is, the game's extremely well done and it is very addictive, but I honestly doubt many people will actually give this game a try, and it really does deserve it. I've said before that you should never judge a game just by how it looks from its screenshots, and that's exactly true for this game. Once the music hits, once a battle begins, and once you do a few attacks, that's it. You're going to be hooked, just like how I was. It's a very enjoyable game and one that I really cannot recommend enough if you want something that's quick and easy to get into and that you can enjoy pretty much straight from the start. It's a really good game and one I highly recommend. Well, that's it for this review guys. Thanks for listening, thanks for watching, and please subscribe.